Hey gang, Chris Angel coming at you for another episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. Hey, let's try putting the phone down like this for a second. Well, that's not great. All right, we'll hold it like normal. I want to talk to you about content marketing for regulated industries. Now, this would apply, listen, if you're not in a regulated industry, then still listen because I'm curious what you will take from this, right? Here's the deal. Insurance is a regulated industry. Financial planning, regulated industry. You might have other things inside of that. I'm not exactly sure where that fits for you, but what I do know is that typically when you're in a regulated industry, there are things you can and cannot say. Moreover, there are many things you cannot say and very few things you can say, which kind of ties your hands, doesn't it? For how to create marketing consistently that people would actually want to consume. Example, a client of ours who does website design, he is not in a regulated industry, had a client in the insurance industry come to him wanting to do marketing, some marketing stuff, but felt like the company he was, not even the company he was with, but in the industry, he can't do marketing the way he wants to do marketing because the insurance industry won't allow it, right? He wanted to do more authentic stuff that actually connected with people, rather than talking about stuff that doesn't matter in a very stiff and starchy way that the insurance industry says he has to do it, right? I've also seen the exact same thing with financial planners, financial advisors, who want to make an authentic connection with people, but don't feel like they can create content online that feels that way, like they feel confined by the box the industry puts them in. So let's talk about this, because I believe there is a solution. Now, you'll have your own nuances, right? And you'll have your own, depending on your company or your own risk tolerance, there'll be some gray areas that you may have to navigate. But let me spell this out for you, and then you can try it on to see if it fits. So let's just talk about content marketing first of all, so that we can have a baseline for how this works. Most people in marketing try to market their product. And this is where the regulations come into play, right? Because if you are talking online about financial services, the financial services industry wants to make sure that you don't misrepresent something, you don't promise something you can't deliver, right? So that is not what we're talking about. Content is not about what you sell. Content marketing, I believe, is not as effective if what you're talking about is what you sell. Content marketing is best related to from a place of relationship. If you've watched any of these episodes in Marketing for the Rest of Us, you know that I believe that marketing is about relationship. It's about relationship. It's not about selling. It's not about selling what you have to sell. It is about relationship. So with that at the foundation, you can realize that you don't have to talk about your product or your industry in order to create relationship through your content. And your content does not have to be wrapped in the brand of your industry or your profession. So you do not have to have content I always recommend a show. You do not need a show that is titled like, Chris Angel, the financial planner with such and such a company. Do not wrap your show in that, because the minute you do, you're now making yourself susceptible to the regulations of that industry. Again, what we're after is relationship through our content. And if we can create relationship through our content, then an opening happens for deeper conversation, right? In other words, people get to know you outside of your profession, and that makes them curious to learn more about what you do in your profession. So let me spell this out for you. And let me give you like a tangible example. Let's say that you are a financial planner, but one of your passions outside of financial planning is, I used this the other day, we'll use it again, is developing youth, right? Like parenting and mentoring the next generation to think differently about life, success, consciousness. And so that becomes sort of the thing that matters to you. Now, you can create content as a passion project. You can create content as a human being outside of your profession that is about look guys, my name's Chris Angel, And I'm here to talk about how do we raise the consciousness of the next generation? How do we as parents with 14-year-olds and 12-year-olds, middle schoolers, high schoolers, how do we teach them about life principles before they ever get in the real world? Blah, 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 right? And I can build an entire show around that conversation. And very seldom do you even know or find out that I'm a financial planner, because that is not the point of the show. Now, the people that will be attracted to this conversation of raising up the level of our next generation are going to be other people who share that same value, right? So in other words, your content is attracting your tribe. Your content is attracting people that like the things that you like. And when that happens, you know from experience that if you've ever been at a networking meeting and you met somebody who liked the things that you liked, you had an instant bond because that connection was tribal. And from there, all sorts of other conversations, including your profession, opened up, right? So you can, let's fast forward, because you can begin to drop backstory into your content about what you do professionally without it being marketing for that industry. In other words, hey guys, my name is Chris Angel. In my day job, I'm a financial planner. But the point of this show is really to talk about how do we as parents and as adults reach into the next generation and raise up their level of consciousness so that they are set up for success in life, blah, blah, blah. I can put into my content that I am a financial planner but I don't need to do any instructing or marketing around the products I sell as a financial planner. That's not the point of the show. But the people that I build a relationship with, the people who come to trust me, know me, like me for the perspective I have about raising the next generation up, will know that I'm a financial planner. And if I ever say, listen, if you guys ever want to reach out to me, in my show I say, if you guys ever want to reach out to me about this conversation of raising up the next generation, right? Or you have questions about anything else, feel free to reach out to me. Here's where we can connect. And you invite them from your content into a different format, into a different interaction. And in that interaction, you can actually get into conversations about what you do professionally, and it never touched your content marketing. When you are in a regulated industry, you have to get creative about how you build relationships. And it doesn't mean that you can't have a show. It doesn't mean that you can't do content marketing. It just means that you have to rethink and reframe how you're building relationships through digital media in order to then create a conversation offline or in a different place, like through an email, for example, like in an email communication. Is the minute you take the conversation beyond your marketing, everything becomes okay again, right? You guys in financial planning or insurance or whatever, you can have conversations with people through email about financial things, yes? The problem is when you start trying to do that inside of your marketing strategy. So if you want to be able to reach more people, find your tribe, generate a deeper funnel of perfect clients, you have to go beyond your product and your industry, and you have to connect with people at a human level beyond what you sell, because that's where humanity lives. And from that place, as you create consistent content and they get to know you about the things that you're passionate about and they're passionate about outside your industry, it opens up opportunities for conversation outside of that marketing channel through coffee appointments, lunches, if you're a local business, right? If you're a national business, you can move them into an email conversation. There are other places you can begin to engage them outside of your actual marketing, but your marketing has to start to get creative about how you build relationships. Upstream from the point of sale, upstream from the time they need you professionally. My suggestion, if you're going to create a show, and I'll wrap with this. My suggestion, if you're going to do content marketing and you're in some type of a regulated industry, most regulated industries are not very sexy to talk about anyway. Nobody wants to talk about your financial plans, and nobody wants to talk about your insurance products. What makes for good content is aspirational content that helps all of us rise. Yes? So who I'm speaking to right now are those of you who actually have a heart for making an impact in the world that goes beyond the product or service you sell. There's some other thing, there's some other difference you want to make, contribution you want to make, for the good of humanity. And if you can capture that in a show, then that becomes the baseline, the mothership of your connection with people digitally. And then from there, you can actually get into conversations about what you sell outside of your marketing content, right? Would love to hear your feedback. You can feel free to private message me or just throw comments here in the comments. Yeah. And I'll circle back and interact with you there. But for now, begin to expand your mind beyond what the industry says you can and can't do, and look for how do I build relationships digitally with people, even if it doesn't have to do with what I sell. Thanks for hanging out with me for a little bit today. This is another episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. And until tomorrow, see ya.